Hello, everybody, and welcome to project number 2. Congratulations for getting past the first lesson. I know that this program can be a little daunting, and the user interface is very, very sophisticated. So we're going to go a little bit deeper in this lesson, in this project, and we're going to create our own project together. I want you to know that I am going to be showing you the OneDrive folders, and I am going to be showing you where I am storing everything on my computer. Again, I'm on a Mac, and in the movies folder, I have this GPS Online Intro to Audio Production. This is where all my projects live, and I hope you have successfully completed that. If you haven't, give me a shout, and I'll help you get a little bit more organized with your folder structure. When we are opening DaVinci Resolve, this is the first thing you will see. This is the project manager. We've been over this before, but we, in the beginning, created our own project library, which should be here somewhere for you. You've named it. I named mine Dan's Project. You've named yours perhaps something different. A reminder across the top here, if you do not see what I am displaying here, you may be clicked on the Network tab or the Cloud tab. And if so, just make sure you're back here on the Local tab. And you should probably see one project library. That's what I would imagine. You see more here from me because I'm doing many other projects and I'm working on some of my own client work here. And then, of course, in the project library that I created is project number 1. And you'll always see this untitled project ready to start a new project here. I have this other project going here, and that is how I am actually creating these videos that you're watching. So you should probably only have project 1 at this point, and maybe this untitled project across the bottom there. So we're going to go in here and we're going to create a new project. So right here, we're going to click. Of course, I'm going to name it Project 2, and I'm going to create that, and it's going to open up the user interface. Now, if you don't see this particular view, I want you to understand, again, that there are pages in DaVinci Resolve. This is the media page. I happen to be on the cut page. That's where it opened to. It usually opens to the cut page. There's the edit page, the fusion color, and Fairlight page. Now, this is where you would deliver projects, not to me, but to a consumer or a place to play the file. So we're mostly going to be working in this Fairlight page, but I want you to first go here to the media page. This is where you can dive into your file structure in your computer and get things and find media to pull in. You can also do that here in the edit page, and this is where we would put video and audio in on a timeline and edit that there. Because we are in Fairlight right now, that's where I want you to go. So I want you to come over here to the Fairlight. And my cursor's acting a little bit funny there. It doesn't, when I go down to the bottom of the screen, for some reason, it gets a little janky, but that's where I am on the Fairlight page. And if you do not see the same thing I'm seeing here, it could be, perhaps, that the media pool is open, or the effects panel is open, or index. These can be clicked off just by clicking on the label itself up there. We're going to mostly be here and sometimes in the effects panel, and you can bring one up or both gone, or one at a time. Also, on this side, if you see the mixer panel open, that is probably because this is selected up here. The same thing goes for the meters. That usually comes across the top. Metadata is something we'll talk about later. We're not going to be in here a lot. And the inspector, we will be in here a lot. So I want you to know about this tab up here. But if you clear those away, and you have the media pool open now, this is what you should see. So in the media pool, this is where we pull in audio files and or video files. Right now we're focused on audio. So we're going to do what's called creating a bin. Bins are folders, and they just have a different nomenclature when you're working in video. It's the standard term. So when we come to this little panel here, and again, if you don't see it, maybe it's tucked behind there, but we're in Media Pool, and you should see these panels here. And when I am in this master section, if I right click, and when my circle turns red around the cursor, that means I'm right clicking. When I right click, you'll see that new bin will appear here, and I can click on that and create a new bin. Alternatively, there is this shortcut, which is Space Command N on a Mac. Refer to the guide that I have put in if you are on PC. There's a guide on the shortcuts in Canvas for that. But I'm going to use this. It's just much more handy for me to right click and select create a bin. And now I have bin number 1, and my cursor's already in there and it's highlighted. It's begging me to name it, right? So let's call it, we'll call this music bed. And I'm going to organize my files in here a little bit, and or at least my bins in here a little bit. And I'm going to right click again, and I'm going to create another bin, and I'm going to call it VO for voiceover. And then I'm going to create another bin, and I'm going to call it SFX for sound effects. And I think I'll stop there. I just want you to be able to do that. I want you to see how these bins are created. Again, they're a lot like folders. And so now when I click on Music Bed, now you can see that this panel will hold all the Music Bed files. So I can come in here now and right click, and I can import media. So now if I click here, I'm going to go out to my computer somewhere and find the media. Now in this case, I'm going to go back to my folder here. This is where I'm going to store all my stuff, as I said before. And inside this folder, there are the resolved projects, and then there's all these other folders here too, where, for example, I have a project folder here, and this has all those alien sounds that we were using in the previous lesson. But say I wanted to pull in some other sound effects or music. In this case, I'm looking for music. I'm just going to close this window for a moment. I just wanted to show you what was going to happen. Now, let's go back over to the course folder, and let's take a peek at these two folders here. In here are music assets. Let's see. Dream Rose Forever. We can open that and sample it here to see if we like it. I'm just going to play here. Alrighty, I think I know where that's going. I like it. It's mellow. I'm going to click back to the folder itself, and I'm going to download this file. So we are going to click on the little 3 ellipsis there, or whatever you call it, and we're going to download. Now that just went to my downloads folder. So here in downloads, there it is. So I have this downloaded now from the OneDrive that we all have, and I'm going to grab it, and I'm actually going to move it to the movies folder and put it inside this folder here. So now that lives in this little, I think I'll take the time to create a new folder here and just title it music. Put that guy in there. It's just a way of keeping things organized so I know where to get them. later on. Let me resize these columns here so you can kind of see the path a little bit better. You know, I get metadata over here. If you are in column view on a Mac, when you highlight the file, you get all this information here about the duration of the clip, and you know, this is kind of where it came from. It looks like it's pointing back toward my OneDrive folder, all that stuff there. The date it was created, the size, that type of thing. And you can sample it in here too, just so you know. Okay, so, all right, I've got some audio down, and I want to put that again in music bed. We created that bin. Now I'm going to go back over to here, and I'm going to right click in there, and I'm going to import media. And I'm going to go back to my movies folder and the new folder that I just created that we pulled this down from OneDrive. And I'm going to highlight that file and open, and boom, now it is in here. Now, if I double click on this, I get the chance to preview it up here before dumping it into the timeline over here. So now that I've got it up here, I can hit play or hit the space bar. I can also create in and out points here as well. I can cut this down before putting it in there. And the way you do in and out points is, say I really want to start when those other keys are played there, the little twinkle there. So I could go back here, and I can actually hit the keyboard. Let me turn on Keylime Pi app. And that way there, I can show you the keys. So now that I have the playhead right here, I'm going to actually hit the I key, and you can see that displayed at the bottom there. So I've created an in point there. And now you can see there it is. There's the in point. All right, maybe that's all I want. So now I'm going to hit the O key. And now I've created an out point. So if I pull this in now to the timeline, only that section is going to be brought in. It's just a little trick to know. I typically don't do this. It's more handy with video when you don't really, you got some B-roll or something and you don't need the whole shot and you don't want to dump it into the timeline. You can change it in the timeline if you really want to. But this is just a little tip that I want you to know about ahead of time. Now, I'm going to take this track now and bring it over to this area, and you can see that it's going to create this audio track on its own just by dragging that over. But because I created these in and out points, that's all that's over here. Now, the interesting thing is that that clip is still there in its entirety. I just dragged it out. When you pull your mouse pointer and you see it turn into this white bracket with the two arrows, now you can see that it's shadowing that there's more to this file. And I can pull it out there. Now I can grab this track and pull it this way. You can see that'll go out. You can move this all around. And I'm going to grab it over here and I'm going to pull it all the way out. And now it's back to the beginning. So I can create in and out points up here in the preview panel, then drag it in. I could make the edits here by dragging this way and that way. I just want you to see that there's all kinds of ways to do that. Now, I am using the pointer mode tool right here, and you can tell because these tools will turn red when you're selecting them. So I can grab this guy and move it back to the beginning. So now I'm back at the beginning. Okay, and it has a really nice ending, I bet. Alrighty, so I get a sense of what's here for this audio. Okay, now in the sound effects bin, we're going to want to pull in some sound effects here. So let's go back to our folders here and go back to the course folder. And then here we go. In this folder here, we have SFX or sound effects. And this contains many subfolders with all kinds of sports and technology and science fiction. All right, let's go to this folder up here, animals. And let's scroll all the way down toward the bottom. There's these crows that I like. I'm a big fan of crows. Crows cawing in a field. Let's take a listen to that. Okay, I like that. It's a little bit mysterious. By the way, we can download right from here too, so we don't have to go back to the main folder. So I'm just going to click download here. It may ask you for permission and you just say yes. Of course, now that's gone up to my downloads folder. There it is. And I'm going to drag that into movies. And then into GPS. And now this is Project 1 SFX. So I'm actually going to create another folder here. And this is going to be a general folder for that. So now when I go back to my SFX folder, which I can rename if I want. You can see when you click on it, the cursor goes back in there, but I don't want to rename it. And I'm going to go back in here and import media and go to SFX and open it from here. Notice that I'm taking the time to put everything in a main folder. And the reason is because you shouldn't just drag and drop stuff from the cloud or from OneDrive or from other places. Because when you go to open the project later on, the DaVinci Resolve isn't going to see it, isn't going to find it. Everything's going to be all red and you're going to have to relink those files. So it's really important to do this. Now I have the crows here. You know, I could preview that. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put it in on audio track 1. And I'm going to play them together and see what I got for levels. All right, the music bed is crowding out the sound of the crows. So there's a couple things I can do here. I can raise up the level of the crows, and there's a bunch of different ways to do that. Or I could bring the level of the music bed down. The easiest way to change the level is when you get to this yellow line here, your pointer is going to turn into an up and down arrow. And then when you right click, you can just bring the level down. And likewise, I could come up here and bring the level of the crows up. And you can actually see the waveform starting to appear. It's a really soft track of the crows there. I can stretch these panels open. And I'd like you to practice that. So at this point, you should have some bins. And you should have something in the music bed bin and something in the sound effects bin. You should have been able to drag those over and to bring the volume down on this track and bring the volume up on the crows. Let's do this. Let's go into these panels here and click in there, and I can name this music or piano or whatever makes sense to you. But I'd like you to rename this track. And also let's go up here and rename this track. and we'll call it Crows. Now at least we know what's on these tracks. Now, for now, just know that you can change these. I'd like you to change these. And let's stop there at this moment.